on the... Oh yeah, for doing this through the existing, just doing this in the courts, through the legal action, that still doesn't get to the heart of the matter of the game itself being destroyed. We're not really refunds and compensation. Those are a secondary measure that when the game itself can't be reinstated, we just want the game preserved. So doing it through the existing framework doesn't quite get us there necessarily.
Imagine buying a movie and then one day
But the flippin' blossom, what's that?
the studio remotely deletes it from your shelf forever. No refund, no offline mode, no preservation, just gone. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's basically what's happening to video games. And now, after years of people complaining about live service games, offline-only DRM, and games disappearing forever, Stop Killing Games is suddenly becoming a very real movement. Not just internet outrage, not just Twitter drama, actual political attention. And honestly, this might become one of the most important conversations in modern gaming. So for anyone who somehow missed this, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement pushing back against publishers shutting down games people already paid for, especially games that become completely unplayable once servers go offline. And recently, the movement exploded. It gathered over 1 million signatures and officially reached the European Commission, which means this stopped being angry gamer discourse and became something much bigger. Let's add that. I think a lot of companies are probably uncomfortable right now, because this movement touches something the gaming industry really doesn't want people thinking about too much: ownership. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: modern gaming quietly changing the meaning of the word buy. A lot of games are now basically, you pay for access until we decide otherwise. And most people accept that without really thinking about it, until games start disappearing. One of the biggest examples, the game that started it all, being The Crew. Ubisoft shut the servers down, and suddenly a game people purchased became unusable, not limited, not missing features, completely dead. And that's where people start thinking, wait, can companies really do this? And legally? In many places, yeah, they can. I also think this movement is happening now for another reason. People are exhausted not just with live service games, but with the feeling that modern gaming is becoming temporary. Everything feels disposable now. Games launch unfinished, roadmaps disappear, servers shut down, studios move on, and suddenly players realize, wait, this thing I love might not even exist in 10 years. That's terrifying for preservation, and it's also terrifying emotionally, because gaming used to feel permanent, now it feels rented. Now, to be fair, companies do have arguments. Maintaining servers costs money, licensing expires, online infrastructure is complicated, and some games are literally designed around server communication. So no, flipping an offline mode switch isn't always realistic. And this is when the conversation becomes complicated. Because gamers here preserve the game, companies here potential legal and financial nightmare. Especially now when the industry is already struggling with layoffs, raising budgets, live service failures, absurd development costs. I mean, it used to be a joke to teach children to buy video games so they wouldn't have money for drugs. But now drugs are cheaper than those dang games. So what's next? The new extraction shooter costs more than a small country's GDP? I'm just kidding, but with my luck, maybe I'm predicting the future. And this is the real question. Can this movement actually change gaming? Honestly, maybe. But probably not in the way people expect. I don't think publishers are suddenly going to become saints.
We've got to have money.
But I do think the movement could pressure companies into fair preservation plans, offline functionality, community server support. Because right now, the industry feels like it's balancing on a very dangerous idea. Players will tolerate anything, and historically, that eventually backfires, and if nothing changes, I think people will slowly stop trusting digital ownership entirely. And the truth is that we already seeing the signs of that. More players are going back to physical media, emulation, DRM-free platforms, preservation communities, single players, because people don't just want convenience anymore, they want permanence. And the more companies push toward temporary ecosystems, the more players will push back. But maybe the biggest reason the conversation matters is because video games are no longer a niche hobby. Their art, their history, their memories. And if games can simply disappear forever because a server got unplugged, then maybe the industry has a bigger problem than piracy. Maybe the real problem is that we build the entire digital culture without truly protecting it. But at the end of the day, that's what makes Stop Killing Games so interesting. That's what I think what Ross Scott is seeking for the entire community is very novel. Not because it's guaranteed to win, but because for the first time in a long time, players are questioning what ownership in gaming even means anymore. If you like this, please consider subscribe, share and like and leave your comments to feedback. And remember,
I hope that your initiative gets everything you asked for, but nothing you wanted.
no, not that. If you can, please sign the petition. See ya!